Psychedelics may show you things you don't want to see. Let's get into it. Appreciate you guys for the support I've been receiving lately. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're on the road to 3,500 subscribers. If you haven't joined us, make sure you hit that subscribe button before we get into this video.
I want to talk to you about psychedelics because when did you first do them?
When I was 30.
When you were 30.
Well, actually, I think I was a little younger. No. Yeah. When I was 30, I started smoking pot, and then psychedelics came after that.
And did you, I mean, obviously that was before the time when people thought psychedelics were a way to like heal yourself. Like, I feel like this is kind of like a new movement that psychedelics are the answer now.
If you were around the right people back then, you would get that information. Yeah.
Were you around the right people?
Yeah,
is that how you got introduced to them?
Yeah. I was around a lot of, because of the fact that I was a comedian, and then also because of the fact that, I was relatively famous back then, not famous, but like I was on television. I had done some things, so people would want to like turn you on to things, and I would go to parties or meet people, and they would say, "Hey man, have you ever done mushrooms?" And "Hey man, have you ever heard of DMT?" And then there's a few different things that would happen, and you would be around these people who had gone to jail for it, or that were like real psychedelic heads. And once I was around a few of those, I realized there's a whole nother world out there. And then I discovered Timothy Leary and John Lilly, and the flotation tank became a giant part of my life. And then, Terrence McKenna and Dennis McKenna and all the various psychedelic wizards that are out there that have been sort of expressing that there's a whole world out there that you're not seeing. It's like we're living life inside this very strange tent, this very thin membrane tent. And if you just unzip that tent and step out, the entire wilderness of the universe exists. But most people live their life inside this very thin-walled tent, and they think that tent sort of defines the actual universe itself, when it's so small and so limited.
Is there a chance that you open that tent and you don't like what you see and now you've fucked your whole life up? Because I think that's most people's apprehension about doing that. Like,
specifically,
can you not come back?
Yes. Well, Sid Barrett, there's been a lot of people that were, I have friends that know friends that, the issue is with, psychosis and people that have schizophrenia, people that have like legitimate mental health issues. And the argument is correlation or causation, right? And the argument is, do psychedelic drugs cause mental illness, or do a certain amount of people already have mental illness? And I think it's much more likely that the percentage of people that are schizophrenic remains static. Because if you look at it like this, the number of people who smoke marijuana who are also schizophrenic mirrors the number of people who are schizophrenic, period. So it's not that marijuana causes schizophrenia. It's a 1 out of 100 or whatever the number is. They just have this issue. And for those people, it's critical that they avoid psychedelic drugs, that they avoid marijuana, and probably even alcohol, or maybe a bunch of other psychotropic drugs as well, because you've got an imbalance. Just like someone who has a liver disease has an imbalance, just like someone who has a lung disorder can't breathe well, someone has cystic fibrosis, or someone who has any number of diseases. You got to kind of think of it that way.
Yeah.
There's an ailment of the mind. And so if you add this unknown element to that ailment, like 5 grams of dried mushrooms, like, whoa, who the fuck knows what could happen? You might never come back. And then there's the question, the other part of your question is it possible you could open that tent and not like what you see and fuck up your life? Yes. Even if you don't have schizophrenia or a mental disorder, you might have a view of the world that's untenable with the experience that you have under the influence of psychedelics. But that might mean that your view of the world is...
So basically, if we want to go a little bit into detail, you could get high on mushrooms and probably see some fucking demons, see what really goes on around this motherfucker, probably open up what they call the third eye, and now you're able to see things. And from what they say, once you open your third eye, you can't close it. So imagine accidentally opening your third eye. Now you see things that God intended to hide from us on purpose for a reason. People don't realize that we don't even use like 20% of our brain. We only use I think the most a person has ever used, one of the smartest people, I think I don't even think it was 10%. You get what I'm saying? I think we use like 4 to 6% of our brain. So imagine if you start unlocking things that weren't meant to be unlocked. There's things that you don't want to know exist. And I'm fine with staying that way until the day I die. I ain't trying to see nothing I ain't got no business seeing, because I ain't trying to scare myself. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to catch you on the next video. I'm gone.